Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Her Story TV and the Her Story podcast. This is Gertrude Macha here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia. And today I am graced with the presence of yet another fascinating lady coming to us from the US. Welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're based, how old you are, and share your story with us today.
Sinclair. I'm actually based I'm from the UK and I'm 57 years old. And I work with people on a one-to-one basis. I'm a therapist and a healer and a writer, a speaker and a teacher. So my background is in hypnotherapy, counseling, NLP, energy healing. And I've also studied with shamans as well, shamans we say in the UK. So when I work with people, I'm working with them on a multidimensional level on their mind, body and spirit. And I deal with all different types of healthcare issues, spiritual issues, consciousness issues. People call me the consciousness architect. And it's about changing the consciousness that's in and around your DNA and in your energy field, in your light bodies, because that's the software in the machine of your reality. And my goal is to connect people to their highest, brightest divinity that I call one, and for them to learn to be able to heal themselves and upgrade their DNA and take out imprints in there that are creating a negative reality experience for them. If you're looking at what's going on in the world, the shadow aspect is being brought up for us all to look at ourselves, knowing that the world around us is a projection of our own consciousness. So we're responsible for changing our consciousness if we want to change what's going on in the world around us. So over the last nearly 20 years it is now, I've been working one-to-one with people. I make self-help audios for all different types of things, from money blocks to weight issues, relationships with food, relationships with people, spiritual development, post-traumatic growth audios. There's some amazing audios in there. Those of you that know what soul fragmentation is, that's when a piece of you breaks away from the whole when you've been through a shock or a trauma. Well, that leaves you feeling like there's a piece of you missing. There's actually an audio called Soul Fragment Realignment on my website that brings up to 3 parts of you back and heals and integrates that back into your system. There's also an amazing audio to heal neuropathways in the brain, which I created having worked with a US Marine who had 4 or 5 concussion injuries, and it damages neuropathways. It splits them on an energetic level, and that audio is called traumatic brain injury. And it repairs neuropathways and it integrates the 2 hemispheres of the brain so that they actually function as one unit again, which was how we were created in the first place. We've split into the left and right hemispheres of the masculine logistical side and the feminine creative intuitive side. And generally, most of us tend to feed the masculine side of our brains with logic and work and figuring things out, rather than the right side, which is the creative side. So we need to bring that all back into balance. I'm called the consciousness architect because many years ago, for 20 years, just under, I actually worked in architecture as a designer. So I moved from the architecture of buildings to the architecture of consciousness in people. And when you understand that your subconscious, the consciousness of the field in and around your DNA chromosome is actually, that's not junk DNA that like we've been led to believe in the past. It's actually programs and inverted light codes in your consciousness that are creating your health, your wealth, your reality. So it's really important that people understand this and look into what programs they've got running in your consciousness, and to understand the law of projection, which means that what we've got in us, we project out into our illusionary reality field, and it reflects back to us things we've got in our consciousness. So for example, if you're going out and you're meeting a lot of angry people, that's being reflected back to you that you must have some sort of anger frequencies in your consciousness. And you could say, well, I'm not really an angry person. But if you've inherited anger from your grandfather or great grandfather, those imprints can still be in your DNA. It's a bit like intergenerational trauma is passed down in the DNA as well. And these things can be changed. We're moving into an epoch now where the power of the mind over the body, what people call placebo, as they think is an accident, is not an accident. Placebo is actually the mind convincing the body that it's healed, and the body follows that program and heals itself. So it's no accident at all. So placebo is a positive side of healing, and a nocebo is the opposite of that. So I've made audios. I've also published 4 books about my astral traveling. I teach astral travel, astral projecting your consciousness. I teach people how to go into their Akashic records, which are basically the data, like a library of everything you've ever done and everything you ever will do. And it's all in there. So if things can be happening in your life. For example, had a beautiful lady come to me recently who had had IVF treatment, and she was concerned there was something in her Akashic records that was stopping her becoming pregnant. And when I took her into her Akashic records, we brought out an orb of light with a fetus in it, and we put that back into her womb in a guided meditation. And on Monday she was told that she's actually pregnant. So things like not being able to conceive can be energetic, spiritual problems. They can be psychological problems, that there's something deep rooted in your subconscious where you may have said when you've given birth in another lifetime, I'm never doing that again. And that puts a field of energy in your system that blocks you conceiving, because there's an underlying fear or resentment or not wanting to go through all that pain again in your consciousness. These things can be changed. And I also work with PTSD. A lot of people have trauma. And so because I look at it from a holistic perspective rather than just the psychological approach to it, we need to get the soul fragments back for people. The missing piece of the jigsaw puzzle, I call it. It's really important that they're brought back into the system, healed, balanced, and brought back into the system in order for people to be able to move forward and fully recover. And the systems out there at the moment, they're more down the medical road of medications and years of counselling. I don't think it's the way to go anymore, and I think people are realizing that, because when you keep talking about the same thing over and over again, you get stuck in a loop, and what you focus on, you create more of. So it's not always a good idea to be talking about the same thing week in or week out. We need to get deep into the root cause of the issue, the memories, the imprints, and get them out in order for people to heal and to move on fully.
Wow. Your story is amazing, Janine.
Thank you.
You have just brought to us today an understanding that everything is energy, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times, the things that manifest as illness, mental health issues, is just us being out of alignment with energy, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, the process that you have created is called Crystal Kai. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah,
Crystal Key.
That's
Okay,
my
tell us a
healing
little bit
system.
about that.
Well, Crystal Key, I was probably one of the first people in the UK that was working with diamond energy going back like 20 years ago. And it was high frequency. As you go up above the chakra system in your body, which is the colours of the rainbow, when you go above the violet and white, you're into silver, gold, platinum, diamond, pearl, and then the source energy. And then you go beyond the source into what I call one, which is the 0 point field. And that's transparent energy. So imagine those bubbles you blow up that you can see through, that you blow. You can see through, but they've got all the colours of the rainbow in. It kind of looks like that, the highest frequency. So Crystal Key started off with me working with diamond energy grids that I was bringing through people's body to change the frequency of low vibrations that were causing them health issues or depression or anxiety or things along that line, past life trauma linked to abuse and stuff like that. And crystal key then evolved as I evolved, so the frequencies started to become higher. I've incorporated into crystal key my knowledge on of hypnotherapy, NLP, counseling, energy healing, shamanic stuff, which is healing the spirit aspects of it. This is the part of us that breaks away. Most of us have heard of the saying, I was besides myself. It literally, a clairvoyant person would be able to see a part of your energy field, your energetic spirit body outside of you when you've gone through a trauma. For instance, if we lose a family member or even a beloved pet, that fragments us, the shock fragments us. And a lot of us have been through that. I've lost lots of members of my family. When you go through the organising of the funeral and so on, and you feel numb and disconnected, that's that missing piece of you, because the emotional body's gone out because it can't cope with what's going on. Generally, it'll come back in, but more often than not, in more serious traumas, it doesn't come back in. And then people feel they don't feel right for the rest of their life until that's brought back. People will say things like, I've never been the same, or I feel like a piece of me is missing. A very, very common thing for people that have got PTSD or trauma. It's a common thing that they say. So basically, I realign people, I collect the pieces of their fragments, realign them and integrate them back into their energy field and bring them all back together. It's taking it beyond just energy healing into multi-dimensional stuff and mixing all of the skill set that I've got. And that's why I get the results that I get.
Wow. It's just incredible what you've managed to put together to help people get back into alignment. There's so many layers and layers and layers of us.
Yeah.
So if I was to just take you back a little bit and try to get your backstory, how did you stumble upon these gifts? Was it something that you knew you had as a child? How did you become a healer?
Okay, when I was a child, I was clairvoyant. So I used to be able to see the fairies and things like that in the garden and communicate with them. It wasn't until I went to what you call middle school, when I was 11, that I realized that it wasn't normal, that not everyone was seeing what I was seeing. I had a good friend at school who could see ghosts, so we used to share our stories with one another, but I kind of closed it down then. And it wasn't until I was 36, that when my father passed away, that the shock of that reopened my clairvoyance. I don't know if people realize at home, when you go through a shock, it can blow neural pathways in your brain, and when they reconnect, old skill sets can come back. So my clairvoyance came back, and I started to be able to see energy and beings and all sorts of things, and decided to embrace it. I took a couple of years studying and really got into the understanding of the ascension which is going on with the planet, and started working towards that myself, raising my own vibration, and pretty soon realized that I still had trauma from losing my dad, from the grief of that, and I had a lot of symptoms that went undiagnosed linked to PTSD. So I kind of ended up going down that road because I needed to work on myself as well, and it was put in front of me. Then I met a US Marine who really needed some healing, and I worked with him, and it was him that inspired me to make the post-traumatic growth audios, and they're in my Vimeo account on my website. I've got a new platform being built at the moment, hopefully should be ready by the end of April 22, and that's going to be a members platform. So it kind of it's grown organically.
Am I sharing the right website right now? Which website do you want to direct people to?
At the moment, that's the correct one. But as of the end of April, it will be JanineRegan-Sinclair.com.
Okay. And where are you saying people can get the videos and download them?
On crystalkey.com, which is
okay.
the one.
But which part of it?
the shop page. There's a shop
Oh,
page.
the shop page. Okay, excellent. Just want to make sure that if anybody's listening and they are looking for some healing, they know exactly where to go to find it. And your program covers a whole range of things, from post-traumatic growth programs to weight loss, abundance, money, self-help audios, finding the perfect partner, and spiritual growth. So that is just amazing that you're offering so much.
And I do
Wow.
give on a Saturday at 12 Pacific at lunchtime, I do a free healing on Instagram, and that's at Janine Regan-Sinclair, all lowercase. And basically, I open a portal in my heart, and a portal opens in front of whoever comes on. Usually, we have over 100 people come, and basically we put in a higher consciousness in one is coming in and releasing fear, anxiety, whatever people want to let go of into that portal, and it goes back into the void of creation. So and they're filled up with this higher frequency that I talked about of one, which is the transparent with the colors of the rainbow in it. So I do free healing every week for people on Instagram. My new platform, I also teach workshops. I'm teaching an energetic implant removal workshop tomorrow. We're on Friday, Sunday, the 20th of March. And 2 weeks after that, I'm teaching an astral projection workshop. And the week after that is the Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine workshop, where I go in and heal womb trauma, which we've all got. Even men have got womb trauma because we've been male and female, all of us. And when you clear that out, it affects your manifesting abilities, because the womb sacral area is the creative center in the body. So it's a good idea to get that cleaned out of low frequencies and any trauma that's in there as well.
So tell us again what time that is. I'll do a time conversion and let people on this side of the world know.
Okay, so usually it's 11 a.m. Pacific on a Sunday that I teach.
11 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, I think that may be very early in the morning for you.
So Pacific Sunday's the 20th, correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, this is useful information. I actually have a friend who has fibroids, is about to go into surgery, but they can't operate because she's very unwell. So I would direct them to your Instagram, correct?
Yeah, on my website, crystalkey.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the
so
website is showing.
You've got the treatments page, because I also offer energy realignment of people's homes as well. So realigning energy grids is my thing.
Okay.
And Akashic Records readings, I also offer that as a service as well. And that's where we got that lady's little orb and her fetus back that she needed.
Right.
So a lot of people that can't conceive, I believe that they've got energetic, spiritual, consciousness issues that could make all the difference if they get that sorted out. It's looking into my gift, if you like, really, is being able to tap into the root cause of people's problems. So I don't just look at one layer. Human beings are multi-layered beings. We're multi-dimensional beings, and it could be something on another dimensional frequency bandwidth. And I tap into the root cause, and that's why I get such good results with people. If people go and read the testimonials on my website, they'll see that.
That is just absolutely fantastic. Wow. Now, I also noticed that you have an amazing range of products on Etsy.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about We Are One and what that means to you.
Okay.
Because when we met, it is such a concept I'm familiar with from Zimbabwe. Would love to understand what We Are One, what it means.
Okay. So if you think of like a third dimensional line, and then there's a fourth dimension and a fifth dimensional line, and we're here, and as we spread, our consciousness goes out. When we go from third to fourth, when it goes out like this, we're connecting with people either side of us, and that when we go to fifth dimension, it spreads out even more. We're connecting with more people. So as we raise our consciousness, we become more connected again. as a community, as a cluster of souls, if you like. And that's when what coming back to oneness is about. And this is where we've all lowered our vibration. We've been separated through all sorts of means. I won't go into, the negative side of it, but we've been taught separation to keep us weak. What we're doing now is when we raise our consciousness, we start to tap into our higher frequencies and our intuition, and we start to connect more with one another. And it makes such a big difference. So the We Are One, my clothes on Etsy, t-shirts, hoodies, baseball caps, that kind of thing, say things like we are one. And it's, to remind people that we are all connected. It's not about what color we are, what country we live in, what flag we fly. We are all particles of one. It's like if a molecule in my body was me, then the body would be one. Or if a drop of water in the ocean was me, then the ocean would be one. We are a part of it, even though our ego tricks us into thinking that we're separate. We're not. We're all connected.
Yes. Oh, I love this. So my thing is the Ubuntu philosophy, which talks about the same thing. My grandmother used to describe humanity like an organism, that we are cells of the same body.
Yeah.
And if you cut your finger and you start to bleed, your white blood cells will rush to that point to heal it. And she'll say the world's problems are not as complicated as we make them out to be.
No.
If we each remember this, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say is happening with COVID-19 in reminding us of our oneness?
Well, there's a lot of things about that, really, because, we've been shown, I think, a lot of mistruth in there's a difference between cases and deaths. And it's a reflection, again, of toxicity. So, I've said to people before, if you continue to put toxins into your body through your food that's not organic, through, polluted water, through alcohol, through drugs, through sex, anything like that, that is lowering your vibration, then the world is going to reflect it back to us. So I think some of it is about a reflection of toxicity levels. I also think that there is something involved in it, in the separation of the 3D mindset and the 5D mindset, because when I look, the shift happened at Christmas. We moved into a fifth dimensional and the earth was anchored in. It's day, I think it might be day 100 or 101 on my Instagram page. We did a clearing and left 3D and moved into the 5D. So I think it's served a purpose in people deciding, whether they're going to raise their consciousness and move into the new earth on that level or not. And the people that are, stuck in front of their TV are being mind controlled, because when I look at them, they look like they've got a field of energy, like a glass ball around their head. And they're just, what's going in from the screen is brainwashing, and they're not seeing the bigger picture of it all. And I think there's a lot of that going on here.
That is so true. That is so true. And then the algorithms of all of these TV stations, the computers, the more you watch anything negative, the more you're fed things that are negative.
Absolutely.
And it just becomes a vicious cycle.
Yeah, it traps people in the conspiracy mindset. And
Yes.
I avoid it like the plague. And I tell people, I share that with people who come to me. Don't watch it. Don't watch anything about, don't not watch mainstream media, because you can't, it's propaganda. And, it's mind control. And it's been a very long plan of keeping people stuck in front of the TV. And I can see the black magic, associated with it. So there's a much bigger, darker picture going on there. People need to focus on raising their own consciousness, because when you heal yourself, the world around you raises and heals as well, because we're all the center, we're all the nucleus of our own reality. We're having a collective experience, but every one of us has got to do the work. If we want the world to change for the better, we need to change for the better. We need to be the change, heal our traumas, heal our greed, and stop
Yeah,
being
the thing
fake.
is
And
also
start
accepting
you know,
that not everybody will get it, right?
no.
But there
And we're
will
not.
be a critical number
Yeah.
of people who will help shift the needle, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
I look at things like the Maharishi effect, which says the square root of 1% of the population of the planet is all it needs to create a shift in the right direction. Well, we're already into that. The square root of 1% of the population based on 7.8 billion people is about 8.5, 9,000 people. There's already, many more than that are awake now, but it's moving. There's different levels of being awake. Some people are awake, but they're still binging on conspiracy stuff, which keeps that conspiracy stuff alive in your reality. And I've spoken to people before about the round earth and the flat earth. And I always say my earth is what I can experience around me. I've got no control of what's happening on the other side of the world. I'm not going to let that fear in. I'm not going to put it on my screen, because your telephone, your TV act as portals to allow
Yes.
energy into your system. So people need to be very choosy about what they allow into their mind, because the mind absorbs it all. It doesn't know this is just a movie. It takes it all in and it stores it all as real. The subconscious mind does. That's why I studied hypnotherapy, because I wanted to understand how the mind responds to stimuli. So we need to be very careful what we put into our minds, what we watch.
Yes. Oh, wow. I could talk to you forever. This is a subject that is just so stimulating, just absolutely wonderful that we found you and you're now part of our community. So I did do a time conversion. Sunday, California time at 11 a.m. will be Monday, 5 a.m. for us. So if anybody's interested, please go onto the website. Will it be recorded in case somebody misses it and wants to watch it later?
No, I don't record these particular ones because we go into people's personal, stuff, and some people get upset and things like that. And I don't think it's fair to, make that public. So I don't record
Okay.
these. But there is another program coming up on my new platform, the members platform, a 12-month healing program that is recorded, so people can download from that. And there's the free stuff on my Instagram. I think there's 50 free DNA upgrades on my Instagram account.
I saw hundreds of videos on your Instagram. You're very, very generous in giving away all this amazing free content. So thank you so much for that. Well, I've diarized. I will be there on Monday.
Okay. I started off to do 10, and I'm on, I think tomorrow's is 113.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Well, this is very, very inspiring. I really look forward to reconnecting with you. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in. The Her Story movement is attracting some phenomenal women, change makers, light workers who are here to balance out the imbalances we're seeing in the world. And I think, Janine, you're really one of those pivotal people who's doing the work. So thank you for what you're doing to heal the planet.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me on the show as well.
Don't go away. Goodbye, everybody. Have a fantastic day, morning, or evening, wherever you are in the world. I'll be back again tomorrow with yet another fascinating guest. And if you do have a story you want to share, go onto our website, theherstorycircle.com. We still need some more speakers for the last week of March. So today was day 19 of our online 31-day challenge. Join us, share your story, and be a part of this amazing movement. So Janine, I'll talk to you after my little commercial is over. Don't go away.